You are listening to Change Radio News. Today is Friday, 19 December 2025. Good greetings. The news read by Olive Ruzizo. The headlines. Veteran Unionist slams UK's 15-year residency plan. Zimbabwe healthcare funders' assets seized over unpaid employee compensation. And 2 more killed in Guruwe as police manhunt intensifies. And now for the news in detail. The veteran unionist Barbara Kwangwara has delivered a powerful address to Unison members in London. The Zimbabwe-born activist criticized a United Kingdom government proposal to extend the wait for indefinite leave to remain from 5 to 15 years, describing it as exploitative. Her declaration that migrant workers refuse to be invisible or silent drew loud applause from delegates. Gwangwara is a former president of Zimbabwe's Commercial Workers Union and since relocating to the United Kingdom has co-founded the Pan-African Workers Association. She is also a founding executive of Change Radio Zimbabwe. Let's hear her speak.
We propose to extend ILR from 5 years to 15 years. That's not reform. It is exploitation. Malcolm X said, you get freedom by fighting for it. And today, we just did that. We came to this country to care. We cared the care sector and cared with empathy. We did not run, even if it was painful. We stepped into and even revived the economy. We signed contracts that are binding. So for them to say we must now live in fear for 15 years, no, not today, not ever. Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And this injustice ends here. We refuse to be invisible. We refuse to be silent. We refuse to be used and discarded. Nelson Mandela told us that there is no such thing as part freedom. 5 years is already a journey. 15 years is a chain. And today we break the chain.
Meanwhile, migrant carers in the United Kingdom have protested proposed immigration reforms that they could extend the path to indefinite leave to remain from 5 to 15 or 20 years. Speaking in London after meeting Parliament, carers warned the changes would create prolonged insecurity for essential workers who support the care sector. A spokesperson said the proposals are not reform, it is exploitation, and called for justice, dignity, and recognition of migrant carers' vital role. The Association of Healthcare Funders of Zimbabwe has had its assets attached after failing to comply with a court order to pay more than $37,000 in compensation for unfair dismissal. The High Court ruled that 2 former employees were unlawfully dismissed and ordered their reinstatement and compensation. After delays in payment, the sheriff of the High Court moved to attach the organization's property to enforce the ruling. Sources say the case has exposed governance and labor compliance challenges within the medical aid industry body. efforts to obtain a comment from AFO's management were unsuccessful. Police are investigating the killing of 2 people in Guruve, a 55-year-old woman and a 6-month-old baby, bringing the death toll in the area to 10. National Police spokesperson Commissioner Paul Nyati says a manhunt is underway for 32-year-old Enimo Zhitsa, who is believed to be behind the attacks. Police have offered a cash reward for information leading to his arrest and have intensified searches using specialist units and aerial support. Meanwhile, police in Lupane have arrested a 33-year-old man in connection with the killing of an 89-year-old woman in the Mapisa area. Authorities say the suspect is assisting with investigations and is expected to appear in court soon. The government owes microfinance institutions about $65 million after deducting loan repayments from civil servant salaries without remitting the funds for the past 5 months. The failure has forced some lenders to close, with CBZ-run Red Sphere Microfinance suspending loans to civil servants. Salary Services Bureau Paymaster Tuboy Shoko says payments to 150 microfinance companies will be made this week, with arrears cleared by year-end. The issue reportedly also affects medical aid providers and the National State Security Authority. Bulawayo City Council has warned that a new regulation amending the Architects Act could result in job losses and higher building costs when it takes full effect on November 1st. The change removes exemptions, allowing unregistered individuals to draw plans for small buildings. Council says professional fees could rise up to 12%, potentially worsening housing affordability. Following a fatal crash on the Harare-Nyamapanda highway that killed 13 people, citizens are calling for stricter enforcement against vehicle overloading. They would like both drivers and passengers held accountable, arguing that shared responsibility would deter law-breaking and improve road safety. Political commentator Reason Wafawarova has criticized a recent press conference by ZANU-PF spokesperson Christopher Muchangwa, accusing him of turning history into political advertising. Wafawarova says the briefing failed to address governance issues, corruption, and public concerns, instead promoting a personality narrative around President Emerson Mnangagwa. The MDC is locked in a leadership dispute now before the High Court. The party has dismissed as fraudulent messages supporting the ousted leader Douglas Munzora. Acting spokesperson No Rest Marara says the statements were fabricated and do not represent official party positions, as confusion continues over who legitimately speaks for the party. Members of Parliament have welcomed the introduction of the National Highway Patrol Fleet, but warn it will not be effective if police welfare is not addressed. Members of Parliament say underpaid officers risk resorting to corruption, undermining road safety efforts. And in news from local communities, Bulawayo is making progress towards the United Nations 95-95-95 targets to end AIDS by 2030, though men and children remain behind. National AIDS Council of Bulawayo coordinator Douglas Moyo says the city has recorded a 44% drop in new HIV infections between 2020 and 2024, alongside improved treatment coverage. However, he warned that fewer men are testing for HIV, adolescent pregnancies are rising, and sexually transmitted infections and male suicides are increasing. Moyo also said the reinstatement of the Mexico City Police in the United States has negatively affected HIV prevention services in Zimbabwe. Councillors from ZANU-PF and the Citizens Coalition for Change in Redcliffe have partnered to fight drug and substance abuse by hosting a snooker tournament aimed at engaging youths. Addressing the event, Finance Deputy Minister Kudakwasha David Mnangagwa and Redcliffe legislator July Moyo said drug abuse affects all communities regardless of politics, and called for unity in tackling the growing crisis. In international news, tensions are escalating between South Africa and the United States after Washington condemned the brief detention of 2 Americans in South Africa on Tuesday. The United States says the officials were providing humanitarian support to the Afrikaner minority and warned of severe consequences if action is not taken. South Africa, however, denies arresting any United States personnel, saying the operation involved 7 Kenyan citizens working illegally on United States immigration applications. And finally, in sports news, FIFA has banned Ngezi Platinum Stars from registering new players after the club failed to pay former assistant coach Wongani Mafu nearly $200,000. The amount was awarded for unfair dismissal. FIFA's disciplinary head confirmed the transfer ban will remain for up to 3 registration periods until the debt is settled. The club is already struggling after losing several players and its coach. The status of a separate, larger award to former head coach Benjani Marwaro remains unclear. To end the news bulletin, here are the headlines once again. Veteran Unionist slams United Kingdom's 15-year residency plan. Zimbabwe healthcare funders' assets seized over unpaid employee compensation, and 2 more killed in Guruwe as police manhunt intensifies. This concludes our bulletin for today. Thank you for listening. From myself, Olive, and the entire team at Change Radio, have a blessed weekend and safe festive period.